things in the world worse than coming home to find that no one wants you? Well, unless you're Superman, I guess. After spending 5 years of world studying his home world of Krypton, Clark Kent returns to Metropolis only to be greeted by a hero reception. Wait, what? Yeah, it turns out the people of Earth don't exactly remember him being gone in the first place. And now he has got to win them back before Lex Luthor destroys Metropolis and proves once and for all that Superman is Zuna needed. Uh-oh, what is going on here? Well, let's get super and find out. In the wake of a cataclysmic event that nearly destroyed the Earth, Superman disappeared into deep space in search of ants. Now returning to his home planet, he soon learns there's been some time that's passed since he's been here. Like 5 years worth. It turns out that while he was gallivanting around the galaxy, the rest of the world just kept on turning. The Daily Planet has continued publishing. Metropolis has continued thriving. And life has continued moving forward without Superman in it. And when Soup shows up at the Daily Planet expecting the hero's welcome, he finds that not everyone is happy to see him. Especially his ex-girlfriend Lois Lane, who has written an emotionally charged article about her fall in love. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's backtrack a bit. This movie begins with a flashback to Krypton, Superman's doomed home planet. Jor-El and Lara Lorvan, the last surviving Kryptonians, send their infant son Calloway in a rocket ship moments before Krypton explodes. The ship lands in Smallville, Kansas, where he is found and raised by farmers Jonathan and Martha Kent. As a young man, Clark Kent leaves home to pursue higher education in Metropolis, where he becomes a reporter for the Daily Planet. Soon, he meets the love of his life, Lois Lane, and together they stop a runaway train and foil the plans of Lex Luthor. They're so cute. Love is in the air, but their romance is cut short when a massive meteor shower threatens Metropolis, and Superman sacrifices his own happiness to save the city. He flies up into the sky to investigate, but instead of saving the day, he gets sucked into the Phantom Zone back in Metropolis. Lex discovers that one of the meteors contains a Kryptonian crystal that can drain Superman of his powers. So while the citizens of Metropolis think Superman has abandoned them, Lex uses this opportunity to purchase Metropolis's waterfront and begin construction on a colossal high-rise building. On a date with Lois, Clark witnesses the start of construction and decides to fly over to Lex's building to check it out. Lex spots Superman and alerts the media, hoping to humiliate the superhero. Instead, Superman reveals his X-ray vision to the world and gives Lex a public warning to stop his shady dealings. Lex, undeterred, continues to use his connections to build a fortune. Meanwhile, Superman's old pal, Jimmy Olsen, tracks down the Daily Planet's former photographer, Perry White, who has since become a successful photojournalist. Jimmy convinces Perry to return to the Daily Planet, and the two discover that a mysterious visitor has been searching through Superman's old files. As it turns out, this mysterious visitor is none other than Lois Lane, who has come to Metropolis to reconnect with her old flame. She's brought along her new fiancé, a handsome and charismatic senator named Richard White. Yes, that's Senator White, not Perry White. That would be weird, but it's clear that despite her engagement, Lois still harbors romantic feelings for Superman. Awkward! To make matters worse, Richard proves to be a thorn in Clark's side, criticizing Superman and even proposing a resolution to ban superheroes from American skies. Of course, Clark does his best to win Lois back, taking her on a romantic hot air balloon ride and sharing his secret identity with her, but she turns down his proposal and stands by her decision to marry. Richard crushed. Clark throws himself into his work and accidentally sends an article about a Kryptonian crystal to the Daily Planet S. New owner, Lex. Lex recognizes the crystal as a powerful energy source and assembles a team to retrieve it. Clark, realizing the danger, tries to warn Superman, but his friend is too busy moping over Lois to listen. As Lex's team moves in on the meteorite, Superman finally snaps out of his funk and swoops in to save the day. He battles the superpowered thugs, but quickly discovers that their strength is boosted by the crystal. As the fight rages, Lois is caught in the crossfire, and Superman rushes to her aid. In the process, he loses the battle and crashes into the Daily Planet. Meanwhile, Lex confronts Superman's adoptive father, Jonathan Kent, who is now terminally ill. Lex reveals that he was responsible for the meteor shower that nearly killed Superman years ago, and he intends to finish the job. He forces Jonathan to help him harness the meteorite's power, promising to cure his cancer in exchange. At the Daily Planet, Superman recovers and regroups with his friends, Jimmy and Perry. They race to Smallville to save Jonathan, but arrive just as Lex is draining his life force to complete the transfer of kryptonite energy. With his last bit of strength, Jonathan reveals the truth about Superman's origins to a shocked Clark. Touched by his father's sacrifice, Clark defeats Lex and cures his cancer. The battle destroys much of Lex's empire, including the colossal building, leaving Metropolis in ruin. Once again, Superman disappears into space, this time in search of a way to rebuild the city. There he encounters the Fortress of Solitude, a Kryptonian structure that contains vast knowledge about his homeworld. Using the fortress's resources, Superman learns how to tap into the sun's energy, which allows him to rebuild Metropolis in record time. When he returns to Earth, he's greeted as a true hero and finally wins back Lois. The two share a passionate kiss as Metropolis celebrates its rebirth. Richard is nowhere to be seen, probably off running for political office. And that, my friends, is the story of Superman Return. Now, why do you think this movie almost killed Superman? I mean, it did pretty well at the box office, but the critics weren't exactly kind to it. One of the main reasons was the film's weak script, which many felt was a poor imitation of the Christopher Reeve Superman movie. The dialogue was clunky and the plot was convoluted, which made it hard for audiences to take the film seriously. Additionally, the film's villain, Lex Luthor, wasn't very interesting. He had a complicated plan to destroy Metropolis, but it didn't make much sense, and it wasn't very different from his previous schemes. And not to mention Brandon Routh's portrayal of Superman was considered bland by many. Some felt that he didn't have the charm or charisma to carry a film on his shoulders. And there was also the issue of the film's pacing. It was slow and meandering, which didn't do any favors for the already convoluted plot. All these factors combined to make Superman Returns a critical and commercial disappointment. It's unfortunate because the film had a lot of potential. The film's special effects were actually pretty good for the time, and the film's action sequences were exciting. But ultimately, these positives weren't enough to overcome the film's many flaws. That's it for today. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're a fan of the channel.